Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we are reading from Malicious Compliance. Our next post is by Superb Raccoon. Take my ID and ask me, what the F are you going to do about it? Okay. So when I was a wee superb raccoon, but still superb, I was in the Navy, recently 21, we decided to go to a bar that had a decent local cover band. So we show up and I present my ID. Grant you, clean cut and close shaved, I did not look 21, but my out-of-state ID was no good and all I had was my military ID. Dorman decides he can F with me. This is fake. I am keeping it. My eyes bugged out. Dude, that is a military ID. Give it back. Nope. Mine now. $20 or F off. I can't get back on base without it, I said. Then you better cough up $20 or F off. Oh, I see. This is a shakedown. F off, huh? Okay. Cue Malicious Compliance. Buddy who drove and used state ID drove us back. We go into the Officer of the Day's office to report my lost stolen ID. Officer of the Day is a crusty old bastard, but fair. Actually a Mustang. He takes orders from the President and God, and we are not sure of the President. He might tell him to F off if it is a stupid idea. He listens. My buddy backs my story. His eyes narrow in an evil, evil way. Chief, can you come up here? I got a present for you. I started to shake a little. Am I headed for a few days in the brig for losing my ID? Here goes any chance of a bump to E4. Seaman Raccoon here says the doorman at Joe's took his ID and wants $20. Pull a driver and one of those jarheads at the gate and go down there and sort it out. The chief looks at me like fresh meat. Come on you two, we are going for a ride. So we all pile in the van with a couple of Marines and BDU and sidearms. It is quiet on the way there. Chief don't look too happy. Can't believe I gotta deal with this BS. Well, at least I don't have to sit at the desk all night. So we roll up. Place is pretty packed. Doorman don't look so tough as the chief stalks up to him like a storm cloud spitting lightning and two armed Marines flanking him. I am hanging back. Raccoon, this the guy with your ID? Yes, Chief. Chief gets up toe-to-toe with him. Chief is short and wide but is built like a brick wall. Jim Muscle Dorman takes a step back, but dude has nowhere to go into the little entranceway. Give me his ID now or I will start looking for it myself. ID is produced. Handed to me. Dorman ignored. Chief pulls the door open, looks at the room, motions for the Marines to make a hole to the bar, make it wide. They do so, calmly shouting to move people out of the way as the music and talk dies down. Chief grabs a chair, stands on it, then uses his parade ground voice. All active duty military. This site is now on the prohibited list. Pay your tab and get out. He gets down, walks out with Marines tailing him, and half the bar follows them out. Very few are active duty this far from base, but many are reserve or retired. They don't like shit like this either. Place went on the list and was still there when I transferred out 6 months or so later. Yep, I effed off, hard and fast. Our next post is by Oi Laura. You talk too much. Wait, why are you so quiet? I used to work as one of 3 assistants for the engineering, R&D department of a medical company. My desk was situated between the other 2 assistants, and we were all in the middle of a cube farm. It was problematic because everyone who had to go anywhere had to come by my desk. They would stop, say hello, and no matter how hard I tried, they'd start chatting. This of course impacted my work. After a certain point, my supervisor pulled me into an office and told me that I'm talking too much, that it's impacting my work, and to not talk so much with people. I asked her to give me a script for what to say to people, and she didn't have anything to offer. I was in counseling at the time, and I asked my counselor the same question. She said to use the phrase, "I won't talk to you right now," and return to my work. I'm a bit of a people pleaser, and that's too abrupt for me, so I stopped talking to everyone. After about a week, once again my supervisor calls me into the office. She asked me what's wrong. I told her nothing was wrong. She said people are complaining that I'm being antisocial. I said, you told me to stop talking to people, that I was talking too much and it was impacting my work, so I did. She said, I didn't mean it like that. Once again, I asked her to clarify exactly what I should and should not say, how much conversation was too much, and what to say when the conversation went on too long. Again, she had no response. She said, just don't talk too long. I returned to work. One of our lab techs was one of the chattiest and one of the worst offenders. She came by my desk one day, we exchanged greetings, and she started chatting. I quietly told her that I had gotten in trouble for talking too much, and I needed to get back to work. She respected that and walked away. I did that a few more times, and the point got made to the office. It didn't make my supervisor look particularly good, because everyone knew when I said I was in trouble what the source was, and when layoffs came sometime later, guess who was the first to go? Don't get me wrong, it was a blessing in disguise. The severance was amazing. They paid for job placement training, gave us 9 months' notice, and once our termination date came, they paid us out in regular paychecks, not in the lump sum. During that time for me, almost 3 months, I accrued vacation and sick time the whole time. They cashed it all out at the end. The week after my severance package ran out, I found a job at another division of the same company and continued for another 11 years. Our next post is by Once Was a Worker. Won't talk to me. Don't worry, I will talk to HR. So I used to be a union delegate for a large firm with multiple sites. We had a Karen of a manager who was appointed by her uncle, a director of the firm, to her role. She wasn't very bright and told me once 40 was half of 100. I have written on this subreddit before about her. Where I work, we get 4 weeks annual leave, 2 weeks sick leave, and 2 days bereavement leave a year. All this leave is accumulating too, so if you don't use it, it builds up. So one of my union members, Max, goes to Karen and asks for bereavement leave, and she refuses, as Max has no proof his grandmother has died. She also quotes part of our employment contract that states managers can ask for proof of death for bereavement leave. Max explains he from a culture where funerals are very important, but Karen refuses him still. He tried to explain that it's not just the grieving process, but the actual cultural event for social reason also. Max is flabbergasted and comes to me. Our contract actually states proof is required if the employee has a poor leave record. It also states without a poor leave record, bereavement leave cannot be refused. Max has worked for the firm for 5 years without a single day off besides annual leave. I approach Karen about it, and she says she won't talk to me about it, and I'm wrong. She tells me to take it above her if I have a problem, but she is right. By sheer coincidence, it's a quarterly union meeting with the executives later that day, and as per Karen's instructions, I take it above her. Max is also from an ethnic and cultural minority. Come the meeting, I explain the situation to everyone present, including Max's ethnic and cultural background. I ask 4 questions. 1. Why are you breaking employee contract, and are you prepared to go to court, as we are? 2. Why is the firm being culturally insensitive? 3. Why is the firm being racist by denying someone's ethnic and cultural beliefs? 4. Where is the general compassion from the firm? There was stone-cold silence for a good 2 minutes. The head of HR offered his apologies, told me the leave would be granted. He would personally ring Max and grant him leave and an apology. Karen got blasted by multiple senior managers. Karen would have been sacked, but her uncle, the director of the firm, stopped this. Every manager on my worksite the following week spent 3 days training in employee rights, racial and cultural sensitivity, and compassion in the workplace. They also got told the training was because of Karen's actions, which alienated her from the management group. Max got a full week off with pay without needing to use his bereavement leave. Our next post is by Abject Rule. Not feeling safe? I'll stare at you. Let me start this off by saying I am a lifeguard. I, F19, work at my local college's recreation/lap pool. We open the pool at 1, but we usually have to be clocked in and set up by 12:30, so basically just like a regular job. The one thing I love about this job is how easygoing it is. We have 3 people working the whole day, one of them being a head lifeguard. The thing that makes this job so easy is that we do 20 minutes rotations per stand. If you don't know, a stand is where the lifeguards sit, and we have 1 stand for each section of the pool, 3 sections. Today I got on stand when a regular, male 40, came in. This guy is known to ask out our lifeguards and acts really creepy towards female staff and swimmers. I was only on stand for about 5 minutes before he comes up to me and says, in a really rude tone, "Can you look at me more often? I feel unsafe," and I reply, "Sure," in the nicest way I could muster. He gives me the stink eye and continues swimming. As he's swimming, I am bug-eye staring at him. He swims for another 5-10 minutes before he leaves. I guess I made him uncomfortable. 30 minutes goes by, and my supervisor walks in and calls me over. Apparently, he sent her an email complaining about me staring at him and making him feel unsafe and uncomfortable. I apologized to my manager and explained that he just gets on the staff's nerves and makes them feel uncomfortable. Thankfully, she watched the whole encounter on our security cameras and thought it was really funny. She totally understood. Our next post is by Accomplished Towel. Dad told me to never wake him up in the middle of the night again. I was 9 years old and woke up from a nightmare. I was scared and couldn't go back to sleep, so I woke up my dad for comfort. He told me to go back to bed and never wake him up for anything ever again. I rarely woke him up for anything, but I made sure not to. A week goes by, and it's the weekend, so I'm allowed to sleep on the couch and watch TV. I get up to go pee in the middle of the night, and as I'm walking back, I hear a tapping on the front door. I'm frozen in fear already, and I hear the person trying to open the door for what felt like 3 minutes. They stop, and I see their shadow go across our front yard. I'm still standing there, shocked, but glad it was over. Unfortunately, they left to go to the backyard. I could see them, because I was still standing there, trying for the back door, and then I see their hand reach through the doggy door to grab the handle. They were just 2 inches away from it. I was holding my breath at this point. They finally give up, and I muster the courage to move again and go back to sleep. The next morning, I tell my dad and stepmom about it. They are freaking out and asking, why didn't I wake them up? I reply that I was told not to for anything, and they said it's okay in emergencies. My little brain at the time didn't get it because the nightmare I had felt like an emergency, haha. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.